Stacey Silva, a familiar face from 90 Day. The Last Resort, is making headlines for a surprising moment during the explosive Tell-All special. Known for her glamorous style and heartfelt efforts in love, Stacey found herself at the center of a tense situation with her husband, Florian, whose behavior throughout the season raised serious questions, both from fans and from professional therapists on the show. Although Stacey and Florian's relationship was often seen as more stable compared to her twin sister Stacey Silva's rocky romance with Georgi Rusev, the latest developments show that things were not as smooth as they appeared. The tell-all brought many truths to light, revealing underlying issues that had gone unaddressed for far too long. A relationship on shaky ground. Despite being married for a few years and spending more than a decade together, Stacey and Florian's bond appeared strained in recent episodes. While Stacey frequently showed emotional investment in the relationship, Florian seemed disengaged. There were moments when Stacey needed him most, such as during her hospital stay for emergency surgery, yet he wasn't present in a supportive capacity. These instances built up frustration for Stacey, and the tell-all appears to have been the tipping point. The episode featured an intense therapy session in which professionals discussed the dynamic between Stacey and Florian. One therapist suggested they had fallen into a parent-child role in their marriage, where Stacey was more of a caretaker than an equal partner. This comment struck a nerve with Florian, who became visibly upset and rejected the feedback. The suggestion that there wasn't an equal balance in their relationship didn't sit well with him, and he quickly dismissed the professional guidance being offered. Tensions rise during therapy segment. During the heated exchange, other cast members such as Ariela Weinberg attempted to calm the situation, encouraging Florian to listen with an open mind. However, Florian appeared to shut down emotionally, refusing to acknowledge the advice being given. As the conversation escalated, Stacey, clearly overwhelmed, urged him to consider what the therapists were saying. She tried to advocate for a more respectful dialogue, but the pressure of the moment seemed to get the better of both of them. At one point, Florian challenged the therapist's views and turned the focus onto Stacey, claiming she needed to change instead. It became apparent that Florian was unwilling to reflect on his role in the relationship's struggles, which further isolated Stacey. Visibly frustrated and embarrassed by the situation unfolding in front of her co-stars and the cameras, Stacey made a bold choice. She got up and walked off the set. What the therapist's comments really meant. The parent-child dynamic described by the therapists didn't imply literal parenting, but rather pointed to a power imbalance where one partner constantly assumes responsibility for the relationship's well-being, while the other resists accountability. In this case, Stacey had taken on the role of the mature one time and again, making sacrifices, overlooking red flags, and even forgiving infidelities from the past in hopes of preserving their marriage. Stacey's commitment to making things work, even when the odds were stacked against her, painted a picture of someone who valued the institution of marriage deeply. However, the lack of mutual effort seemed to be catching up with her emotionally. After years of hoping Florian would evolve into a more mature and communicative partner, Stacey was now facing the hard truth. He might not be ready to meet her halfway. Stacey's walk-off, a moment of strength. While walking off a show may be seen by some as dramatic, in this case, Stacey's departure represented something more powerful. It was a moment of self-respect. Faced with public tension and personal hurt, Stacey chose not to remain in a situation that made her feel unsupported and embarrassed. Rather than escalating the argument or engaging in more conflict, she quietly removed herself, a decision that may have de-escalated the situation for everyone involved. In doing so, Stacey proved once again that she was the emotionally grounded one in the relationship. Her action also signaled that she might be ready to prioritize her own well-being over a relationship that constantly puts her in a difficult position. What's next for Stacey and Florian? The future of Stacey and Florian's marriage remains uncertain. While they did renew their vows during a recommitment ceremony earlier in the season, the emotional distance and lack of mutual growth suggests deeper issues that won't be solved overnight. Fans are now wondering whether Stacey's exit during the tell-all marks the beginning of a new chapter for her, possibly one where she steps out of the shadow of a complicated relationship and reclaims her independence.